been really going to show how much they've prepared for this. And with that, immediately we are going into the start.
And they're starting in different places, so we'll get to see quite a bit of the Dark World right off the bat. So OneUp chose to start out of what we're calling Dark Link's house, which is where the bomb shop is in a regular game, while Osse started out of Dark Sanctuary, which is the Dark World equivalent of Sanctuary. We will be getting our first check from OneUp, who just gets the Fisher-Price My First Shield from Stumpy. Looks like OneUp's going to be taking... Oh, we get our first check. I saw red and blue pendants on Turtle Rock and Pod. It looked like everything else was a regular crystal, but if we had any 5 or 6 crystals, please correct me on that, someone. And unfortunately, Osse taking an early death there, while OneUp goes for the digging game. And just a piece of heart in the dig game. Well, I'm guessing Osse's, having just found the big key, I'm guessing he took that intentional death to restore his heart so that he could... Oh, he's not even trying the bomb jump. He's just gonna go in the vanilla route to the big chest here. We'll see if it has anything. Just a big 20.
So definitely, Skull Woods being a really good place to get those early bombs. You kind of can take a couple of different gambles at the start, looking for that that pull prize to see if you can get bombs where Osse is at right now. But definitely that guarantee method, dropping into the back of Skull Woods, taking a couple intentional deaths to get those 2 bombs over and over.
And Osse now checking out Hype Cave, gets the Cane of Burna in there. Other than that, just more bombs and another shield. Piece of heart.
So definitely Cane of Burna, very interesting at the start because that is one of the items you can use to kill blind. Fortunately, this is normal mode, so you get that invincibility. So as long as they have a full magic bar, they should be able to clear it out.
Well, OneUp just got his first sword, so he's going to have a bit more of a standard weapon to face blind as he goes into Thieves' Town now.
But Cane of Burna is so cooler. Just saying.
Oh, I love seeing Cane of Burna strats against blind. The only problem is the magic meter. You have to be careful about turning it on and off. And I didn't actually see where OneUp got his lamp. I assume it was somewhere in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, so he did grab it in his chess game. He got a single bomb and the lamp, and grabbed the sword, and then now just picked up a very key item for opening up the early part of Inverted, that Power Glove, which gives you access to Dark Death Mountain. So we have everything required just about for an Aga Seed, and we would just be looking for like a Moon Pearl to kind of give us more access in the Light World.
Yeah, I guess with Aga now being located where Vanilla GT is, there's no longer the need for either a Master Sword or Cape to get into Aga Tower. And yes, I see now that Ice Palace is a 5/6 crystal, as one of our viewers in chat mentioned.
So OneUp definitely, I say a little bit in the lead right here as far as getting into Thieves' Town. It is a required dungeon, so any progress in here definitely helps him towards that goal of defeating Ganon. Knows that there's these extra bombs hiding in here, so he's gonna pick up a few of them since early game bombs are very valuable. And then here we go, the infamous Hellway. Is he gonna get past without taking any damage? Let's see.
Impressive, he does.
I should ask him to teach me how to do that. I don't even know how to get past that.
He showed a lot more patience than most runners I see going through there. The hook shot can be bought.
That is an interesting hint to see. So, bottle vendor possibly? King Zora? Where is that hookshot gonna be?
Yeah, are there any other places that can refer to, or does it have to be one of those two?
Well, fortunately, there is a handy little document that shows, where all these, what these hints mean. So, according to it, as soon as I get it up. So it can be bought means, either the bottle merchant or King Zora. So hookshot is going to be stuck somewhere in the light world.
But that's also a really useful hint, though, since usually when the runners get light world access, Kakariko is one of their first places they check. So now 1UP knows that if it's not on the bottle vendor there, he'd better make a point of going to Zora as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely true. King Zora, not exactly a location you're immediately thinking of going to, especially getting into the light world. But I can guarantee that, like I said, if the bottle vendor does not hold that hookshot, we're probably going to make a beeline over to that northeast part of Hyrule to pick that up.
And with the glove, we know we can get there, too.
1UP has to be a little careful. That 1 heart in Green Mail. Well, I guess now 3 hearts. These these Zazaks do a lot of damage to you. So you have to you kind of take this a little bit slow so you're not taking these free hits because, once you get the blind, you want to have full health because usually 2 hits from blind is a death. I'll say we'll have a much better time with blind should he go that far into the dungeon since he does have that Cane of Burna. But 1UP here, entering that blind fight, see if he's got these patterns down and how well he can do this fight. So there's a very simple first phase, but second and third phase gets a little bit trickier. There we go, that 1 hit from the fireball. Some of them like to track you a bit. He's got to be careful. He's almost going to take a death. And
there he goes.
Punches it out. Good job. It's always super stressful doing blind so early inverted, but it is kind of a staple of this mode. You want to know how to do, hammer blind, Samaria blind, sword blind, of course, just to be prepared for anything that this seed can throw at you.
And Osse now also has that hookshot hint, so they're both on even footing when it comes to that.
Now, I am very glad that 1UP did kill blind with the sword right there because he's going to pick up this Cane of Burna. And if he had taken a death and had to come back in, then found the Cane of Burna, I can't say that's going to do much for your mentality early on in these kind of scenes.
Yeah, especially in situations like that, oftentimes runners will just try a totally different tack, and then they can lose a lot of time. So our runners are still pretty evenly positioned, I would say, all things considered.
Oh, and interesting. It doesn't look like he's going to go up to Stumpy, which is, I believe, where the Cane of Burna was.
No, the cane was... He just got that in Hype Cave.
Oh,
Stumpy was 300 rupees, I believe, or was that in Link's house? Now I'm having trouble remembering.
And I'll say he has to be a little careful. He does have that Cane of Burna, but he's only at a half heart. Anything here can go ahead and... Oh, there... I'm sorry. I'll say I didn't mean
Commentator's curse.
Fortunately, he did finish the third floor of Thieves Town, so all he has to do is hit that switch to go back in. But looks like he's gonna go ahead and put it off for now, which is fine because we know there's nothing on blind. There is still that item in the Thieves Town big chest, but we will not have access to that until we find that hammer.
And meanwhile, oneup going to a totally different part of Skull Woods that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to finish off these early sphere locations. He does have access to that Death Mountain that I'll say is actually going to right now. But, you know, say that you find like the hammer up here, or even maybe another glove upgrade, or the Moon Pearl too. That could put him in a pretty good lead. Or just a small key. I'm just not going to commentate on anything that he may pick up because he'll just get the worst thing every time.
Well, I remember Osse got at least one item out of Skull Woods. I can't remember if he got both, though. Oh, and chat reminding us that Stumpy just had a shield, and that's why oneup has the fire shield at this point, while Osse only has the Fisher-Price shield.
Osse making that slow trek up Dark Death Mountain. Unfortunately, before you can do anything, you have to turn in that old man by going all the way to the portal up on near Spectacle Rock, and then all the way back down Light World Death Mountain. But he does get an item for his trouble, so we don't have a lot of locations left for that progression. But you know, it could just be you have to go through Agnum's Tower to find, you know, maybe a Moon Pearl or something.
And the old man has a full heart, which at this point is really useful.
Yeah, these early heart containers, extremely useful in inverted mode when you're not really supposed to be in Dark World this early in the game. So despite this being on normal difficulty, this is essentially like your hard mode variation of Randomizer. It really shows, you know, just your game knowledge, your execution, how you can traverse the overworld without taking, you know, free damage, because 1 or 2 hits will do you in pretty fast.
And oneup now going the same route as Osse, and just going to open the big chest by the vanilla route.
Alright, and then we get the best hint in the game. A piece of heart requires the hammer.
Don't you love those incredibly vague hints?
I know. I mean, next to, you know, some caches in Ganon's Tower, that is my favorite hint to see because it does absolutely nothing for my routing. But it knows at some point I will probably find a piece of heart, and that will make the game, you know, entirely in my favor.
Well, there's also, like, a unique item requires bombs. I love that one. Somewhere, something I bomb open will give me something important.
So here we go. Also going over to the infamous Lionel Bridge. Have to be kind of careful here. You have to do a damage boost to get through this side, but he does have the Cane of Burna. He's just gonna say, nope, I'm gonna run through here. I'll take a little bit of lag, but it beats dying and having to run all the way back up.
And that check of TR was way too quick for me to see what that medallion was. Did you see it?
Yeah, it looks like we have bombos required for Turtle Rock. Not really important right now. Can't really get into Turtle Rock until much later on. Well, I'll say going over to Super Bunny Cave, gonna get 2 more checks before Agnum is the last thing that we know has something. There we go.
And there's the Moon Pearl. So now we have access to, we have the west side of Light Death Mountain.
We have everything.
Oh, right, because there's now that bridge over.
Yeah, so once Agnum dies, you get warped over to Hyrule Castle. And with that Moon Pearl, that means pretty much we're going into your normal, like, open mode routing. You know, probably hit up Kakariko, definitely for that hook shot if it is there. You got South Shore, and then C just kind of opens up at this point, but you got to get through Agnum Tower, which shouldn't be too hard to do with that Cane of Burna as well as the Fighter Sword. Also going for those bomb strats. Definitely one of the hardest rooms to do is this first room with these golden ball and chain guards. Take a lot of hits. Normally you have to go through here with the Master Sword in the main game. And not having a lot of damage with the Fighter Sword, that makes it a little bit more difficult to do.
And even with the Master Sword, that room takes a while. I mean, I see runners preferring to go through there with at least the Tempered Sword.
It looks like oneup also making his trek up to the north part of Darkness Mountain. Probably also going to go over to Super Bunny Cave afterwards. It's a more logical thing to do because you don't want to have to get warped to Hyrule Castle and then you're just like, oh wait, I don't have the Moon Pearl.
And OneUp's also going to use the Cane of Burna to take no chances getting past these Lynels.
Also doing a great job so far with his ascent up Aghanim's Tower. Only taking one hit so far. Gets another amazing hint in the form of a United item is hidden behind a bomb.
That was exactly the hint I was saying before.
Although that could mean a lot of different things. It could be referring to that Cane of Burna, in Hype Cave. It could be, pretty much anywhere in, the well of Kakariko or Blindset too. So have no way of telling what that's going to be referring to, just given the number of locations that can be locked behind the bomb.
So as Osse ascends the tower, we do have a little informal guessing game we like to play here, where for most of Aga's shots, he can shoot either a red energy ball, which can damage him, or blue balls. He can shoot up to 15 blue balls before you finish the battle, even with optimal play. So, how many do you think we're going to see today?
Well, I do like Lagbot's guess of 9 blue balls. Really want to make this fight as long as you can. So
Ouch.
I'm going to go with that. I want to see the 9 blue balls Aghanim.
And I'm going to go with 4. I don't think it's going to be nice, but I don't think it's going to be that painful. There's 1.
2. So we got the most, we're almost at the 3, which is the most likely that you're going to get. He already gets 3 in a row, so we're looking closer to that 9.
And 3 also guarantees a second lightning flash.
Now, the blue ball after the lightning, or sorry, the attack after the lightning is a guaranteed normal ball to damage Aghanim. We're at 3 out of 5. Is it 5 or 6? I don't remember. It's 6. Yeah, it's 6.
Yeah. Oh, well, there was the 5th blue ball. So much for my guess of 4. Osse's showing his displeasure there.
I don't know. You could be thinking, maybe the bomb will do damage to him. I mean, Aghanim is a magical being, but you have an explosion happening right at your feet. I don't know that this dark magic that he has is really going to protect him from that.
And that was it. 6 total.
So not too long of a fight, nonetheless. Also, he does get his access to the light world. I would probably expect him to check Uncle, maybe even go right into escape, being right here. Having that sword makes it super easy to get through before he heads over to Kakariko for all those items that are going to be there.
One Up, on the other hand, having a bit more trouble. And as I say that, he unfortunately takes a death.
Yeah, another difficult room. The double red guard, very aggressive enemies. It's really hard to outrun them. And if you're at a low HP, you have to play that super safe. Even possibly using the Cane of Burna to get through without taking that unfortunate death. So while Onup begins his second ascent up Aghanim's Tower, being at low HP already, I'll say definitely gonna go over into escape, pick up what's here, and see what he does after this. Have to wonder if maybe it would have been a better position for Osse to just, One Up to take an easy death. Does know that there's that one heart refill right there, but being one heart after that first room makes this whole climb really stressful because everyone does about one heart's damage.
So far, nothing particularly interesting getting dug up and escape. There's still enough chests left.
One thing to point out about Aghanim's Tower is definitely this is kind of where your NMG experience comes into play. Sure, you're at one less sword upgrade than you are in the normal speed run, but kind of the strats are still the same. Using these poke strats to get these spins in positions that are favorable to you. It's possible maybe he doesn't have as much experience in NMG that Osse has, but so far he's doing pretty good. He's got to be careful. Has the Cane of Burna ready to go, thankfully. It's going to get that one other heart to continue his climb up. Osse does finish up the bottom part of Hyrule Castle. Going to go over to the sewers, potentially all the way through to the back due to having that extra key. All of this is in logic since he does have the lamp. And if you could just go ahead and do this in one go, might as well.
And since the sewers were only designed to be done with 3 hearts and he has 5, he's actually in a better situation than the game expects.
That is true. One Up does make it to his item fight. He's got to be a little careful. He is at 2 hits before he does take a death, so assuming that he just stays aside like he's doing right now, he should not get hit by any of these blue balls that do show up.
Osse now making it to the treasury in the back of Escape. And he finds Bombos.
Definitely a good find. That's pretty important for, obviously, Turtle Not necessary, since you can mirror into Turtle through the various entrances. Not something you can do in other modes, but that will give him at least some access to T-Rock if he doesn't find a mirror throughout his trek through Hyrule.
And depending on key placement, it could be mandatory in any case. Except that T-Rock is a pendant, so who knows how much of it we'll actually need.
That is true. With it being that defeat Ganon, setting. You don't necessarily have to go into T-Rock, but T-Rock pendant, usually one of those things that always has something. Mostly the bow. So we could see them much later on in the seed make his way up there. As oneup does finish his active fight, gives him access to Light World with that move pearl. So probably going to follow in Osse's footsteps right here, go through escape. After that, it's just what route do you take?
And Osse there was going for Graveyard Ledge, which is one of the several locations that, since it would require a mirror to access in the vanilla game, in Inverted, there's an extra entrance added where you can, which makes it possible to just walk up to if you're in the Light World.
So this is a pretty important part of the seed. We have a ton of items available for you. Most likely going to find, maybe 1 to 2 progression items, and a heart piece in Lost Woods. But after this, really kind of shapes the direction you want to go. oneup actually ignoring escape for now, so which will kind of let him catch up a little bit to this early game routing, since we know there's nothing in the first part, especially if he just goes to Sanctuary and drops down.
I just realized I don't think either of them has done map checks since they've gotten to the Light World.
That is true. We only know one of them are going to be a pendant, which is something you don't want to see. You want to have pendant dungeons usually be these Light World dungeons, because they are pretty fast clears. And if there's progression in there, it's more tempting to go inside a pendant as opposed to like pendant T-Rock or pendant pod.
On the flip side, let's say it's Desert Palace that winds up being the pendant. That could actually make things a bit easier, because you need the book to access Desert in Inverted. And sometimes runners just have to search far and wide to get the book if Desert's a crystal.
So I'll say picking up that magic cape so far over in Blindside, that could be another. Actually, no, that can't be our item hidden by the bomb, because it was in the first part. The only thing that gives us access to that we didn't have access to before was the bumper cave, but we already know there's nothing there.
I was just thinking Bombos could have been our item hidden by the bomb. And Osse finds the blue mail, which is probably a welcome relief at this point.
Yep, up there it is.
Guess they don't need to worry about taking an early trip to Zora.
So for those of you just coming in, we had an earlier hint that said the hookshot was sold by someone, meaning either Bottle Merchant or Zora. Definitely the favorable place to find it over in Kakariko, since you want to go there immediately after getting Light World access. So King Zora could still be necessary later on, but we know that the hookshot is not there.
And we get a bottle just in time to check it with Sick Kid.
Yeah, the best place to find that bottle, right next to the Sick Kid's little home.
And Sick Kid just made himself sicker by giving away his heart.
But hey, it's for the greater good. I don't see Sick Kid out there doing, 3 heart blind, 4 heart agonum. So this will definitely be of much more use to Osse, and eventually oneup when he does pick it up.
Nothing on the library shelf there.
As you mentioned earlier, those red guards are super aggressive. They have a movement speed that's pretty similar to Link's standard movement. So you get in a bad position with them kind of on you. It's really hard to get past them.
And that's Oh, I was just going to say that one of the unfortunate aspects of having to beat Agate to access the light world, because that means that Kakariko is teaming with those guards.
So no progression besides that hook shot found so far. Say you're in this position where you don't have anything that can clear a dungeon just yet. Where do you go after South Shore if there's just you haven't found anything yet?
I'd probably go back up to Death Mountain and try Hookshot Cave.
That is true. Plus you get
Oh, well, there's progression for you.
very important progression too with that hammer. Gives access to a lot more portals that are more convenient to go through. But yeah, I would expect maybe that East Death Mountain play from Osse, a lot of items up there, and then possibly a Hera play. You do have access to clear Moldorm with that lamp. Should the boss key be in the basement?
We're finally getting the check. It looks like Eastern was the green pendant, and Desert had a 5-6. Oh, and the flute. And the mirror, wow. That was a pretty hype mini Moldorm cave.
Yeah, definitely. That flute, it doesn't do a lot more in inverted mode than it does in just other standard randomizer modes. Does cut down on overworld travel a bit, but not as necessary to complete. But that mirror is a really good find. A lot of locations, gives that Turtle Rock access. Probably makes the East Death Mountain play a little bit more desirable after doing all these other checks. So I fully expect him to just book it up there, get all those items, possibly, obviously clear out Hera, and then probably dip into T-Rock at the same time.
Yeah, with the Cane of Burna, laser bridges in logic, and you don't even need to open T-Rock the regular way to check that, and it's 4 chests, so why not?
Looks like Osse is not going to take any chances with what could be over at Zora. Instead of doing that save and quit, he's going to go ahead and most likely do these fake flippers over to Zora's domain. Or possibly, oh, yep, there it is.
And he can also check Lake Hylia Island while he's here, which is now just directly accessible. If he remembers. I guess he's going for the hobo first.
Yeah, and P-Flan does bring up an interesting point. There is a hint tile over in the cave that the Ice Rock Cave is in the Dark World. That's a free hint that you can easily use the mirror in. Maybe we'll see oneup pick it up. But, could just be a joke ban with all the normal hints we've gotten so far. But until we know what it's going to be, we don't know if it's going to actually be something useful.
Looked like Osse just took a little glance at Lake Hylia Island and didn't like what he saw on it. I didn't catch what it was, but I'm assuming it's nothing worthwhile.
Yeah, just 20 rupees over on the Lake Hylia Island. Not really necessary because we have 1,157 rupees for Osse. If this was like retro mode, this would be a dream.
Oh, and the boots!
That is a sequence break boots, so hopefully One Up does make his way over here, because that will definitely kind of cut down on that overworld travel for Osse quite a lot.
Did Osse just release the bee from his bottle and toss the bottle into the fairy fountain to get another bee?
Yeah, those bees, it's like... I'm not getting away from you that easy. I know you want some blue, goo, or even like maybe a fairy in the bottle, but nope. Vtorp is with us for this seed. Probably not going to see him dropped at any point soon until maybe he gets to the witch's hut.
Looks like the store's just selling very expensive bundles of sticks today. But hey, at this point, what else do we need the money for anyway? Might as well, make a donation to the charity to feed all those helpless little Zoras. Oh, and there are the flippers on Pyramid. So technically that was all in logic. Osse just happened not to have checked the Pyramid first.
And it's a good thing there's nothing necessary on the Zora ledge, because that would have just been like a second trip up there. But he can go ahead and ignore that. Gonna go over to Catfish. Not a check you usually see this early, but probably just wants to get it out of the way, just in case there is something of importance up here.
It's a little bit puzzling he's doing it this way. I would have thought it would have been easier to get out of the water after Waterfall Cave, use the mirror, check Catfish, and then mirror back and check Zora.
That's correct. It's a little hard to remember that you can actually just mirror right there and get that item right there. But nonetheless, he still went up there and got those boots. Also, just picked up that magic powder, which he does have access to the bat with that hammer at the same time. So, he may go ahead over there and check it out, just to make sure he's not going to leave anything behind before heading over to Death Mountain.
And it's also one of those nice-to-haves, especially once you're working through Ganon's Tower and you're able to convert the anti-fairies into fairies.
So kind of interesting routing from Osse so far. Not often you go to these high-density locations, but instead, checking out these other one-off locations, it takes a little bit longer to get back to Kakariko without those mids, since you have to go that reverse route through the Lost Woods.
And it looks like One Up also forgot that he could just use the mirror near Waterfall to check Catfish. And now he's going to do exactly the same thing, get his flippers here, probably circle around to Catfish the normal way.
Interesting enough, One Up actually going to leave behind Catfish for the time being. We don't know if Magic Bat will have anything, but he's going to opt to go, like I said, over to Death Mountain and get those abundance of items up there, as opposed to strictly following the logic. Also going to go ahead and just clear out his blind fight at this point. Has a little bit more items to work with, has a full magic bar for that King of Burna. So it doesn't matter that he's going to have kind of a harder pattern to deal with at the start, because that invincibility will make this a very free fight.
And the blue mail should also help make it quite a bit easier.
It's also important to note, with that hammer, he can find the final item that is hidden by the big chest. So he's kind of banking on these locations you would kind of leave alone for a while, hoping that there is something there. We already saw, the potential of, with getting that powder, that Magic Bat can have something. He's also going to try to see if this one chest in here also maybe has something important for him.
Oh, right. He now actually can check the big chest in Thieves Town.
Here we go. One up with his Paradox Cave checks. Picks up an Ether, at least for the first notable item. And Silver Arrows. Pretty useful find early on, especially if he does get the bow. Will make some of these fights that he's going to have to go through a lot simpler to deal with.
Now, the interesting thing, since both Eastern and Pod are pendants, theoretically the bow could show up as late as GT.
That is...
Oh, except...
Whoa!
Of course, we were talking about it, so there it is.
Yeah, I was just about to say, in our match earlier between Hahasel and Fear Agent, we found the bow in Tile Room, but that will not be the case, as that hammer unlocking the bow, that's a great find early on, because who knows how long it'll take one up to make it back over there for that one item.
And that's one of the very few times I've seen a runner actually benefit from noping out after taking a death.
Very true. So Osse definitely in a great lead so far as having progression items. These one-off checks, really paying out greatly for him.
Speaking of items, One Up just found the fire rod there in Hookshot Cave.
So, the bow is required no matter what for any seed, even if it is pendant, Pod, and Eastern Palace, because we do need them for the Red Igors during the ascent up Ganon's Tower. So, I really worry. What if One Up decides, like you said, that he goes to GT to find the bow later on, and it's just sitting there in the very first dungeon that he entered?
Yeah, unfortunately, this... Well, the bow requires the hammer, so...
Well, that could be a very good bailout.
It could still refer to a number of places, but... including left side GT. Oh, and Lumberjack has the Master Sword today.
That is pretty nice. But going back to that hint, hammer doesn't require a whole lot as much as you think it would, just because the hints have to be true for every mode. So, between what we've seen GT and Thieves Town, also could be hammer pegs, ice palace, it could be pod, Helmasaur King, which I really hope that One Up doesn't clear all of pod just trying to find.
No, because there's the Igor statue. You can't get to Helmasaur King without the bow.
Oh, that is true. So, okay,
but it could be most of Swamp though, because most of Swamp is hammer locked.
That's true. It could be, according to the logic, anything but the first two chests, and then Spike Cave 2, which I expect probably he will pick up once he's finished with Hera, just to kind of rule out that option. So this seed is really kind of playing out so far in Osse's favor, but given just all the progression we've found so far, One Up doesn't really have to think about the bow at all until we get up to Ganon's Tower. So hopefully there is something that maybe eludes him, that brings him back to Thieves Town, thinking like it's going to be there instead. Maybe a cane of Samaria, as he gets the hint that the unique item that we know are the boots are over in the waterfall.
And with Osse getting the Quake medallion from the Smiths, we've now seen all three medallions, so we know that Mystery Mire's in logic, regardless of what medallion it needs.
Alright, so we see that the Magic Bat just gives a 10 arrows, so, not all of these plays that Osse is making are are, paying off for him. But I would say definitely, linking together, link. Sorry, linking together both Thieves Town and as well as the Magic Bat, definitely playing off. I don't know if he would have actually came back here if he had finished Thieves Town earlier on. So like you said, that Death the Blind or in Thieves Town earlier, really kind of paying off so far in his favor.
Oh wow, Hammer
hello.
Pegs has the Titansmith. So finishing these checks has really paid off for Osse.
Yeah, I have to say, Bow and Titansmith's really incredible finds early on. I really thought, going over to T-Rock is the right play, because look, there's King of Samaria.
So I guess Laser Bridge is required in this seed.
Yeah, I have to say, we actually are nearly in go mode. We just are at least no mode. We just need the ice rod as well. Actually, we may not even need the ice rod if there's nothing on Trinex.
We need the book.
But we still need the book at the very least to get access to Desert Palace, since we can't do that mirror from Meyer over to DP.
But, and this is an evil thought, there's nothing saying book can't be on PED.
Very true. And if book is on PED, that will actually be a little bit nicer for OneUp, because he'll have to find that bow before getting into GT. So it's kind of a comforting thought. Hopefully it doesn't come to that and he just gets back to TT at some point.
Of course, the other thing about book on PED is it's necessarily a blind pull.
Osse, seeing that Temper Sword on the ledge next to Desert Palace, but sorry, we're not getting there until we have that book, unfortunately.
In the meantime, he does get the second mail upgrade.
I've begun to forget what the red mail looks like, because every single, or just about every single one of my matches have been hard mode. So it's like, oh wait, there's a red tunic. I forgot that was in this game.
And OneUp's really trying to clear out Turtle Rock. Obviously, starting on the Laser Bridge paid off because he's going to need Cane of Samaria, but I'm wondering if the rest of this is going to pay off at all, or if it's just going to be a big waste of time looting a pendant dungeon.
That's true. And then the Cane of Samaria being on that first item in Laser Bridge will really benefit Osse if book ends up being somewhere else, because if that ends up being just, one item off of what he needs, then boom, you're in go mode right there. So I believe Ether was on Death Mountain. There was quite a lot of checks coming from both our runners at that point. But I'll say should be picking that up pretty soon once he gets into Paradox Cave.
I'll say picking up the shovel just reminds me, OneUp hasn't actually checked the shovel spot yet, has he?
That's correct. He's been up here the whole time. He got that Hera clear. So past 10 minutes or so have been entirely on Death Mountain. So after this, really, oh no, he actually ran out of magic.
Wow, not a good place to run out of magic.
I mean, it's not something you think about because, you just mirror back to the entrance and you get the full magic refill right there. But because this is inverted, he doesn't have that luxury, and he's going to have to unfortunately leave those 2 items that are over behind the torches behind.
Which is unfortunate because he does have Bombos, so he could have opened up the front of TR if he had wanted to.
All right, so we got hammer, we got hook shot, and we have a mirror. And the flippers. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, looks like, OneUp's gonna make that swamp play.
Oh, wow. I was thinking he's maybe going to go over to Death Mountain, or to, Death Mountain, This is the best place to be if you want to get to Death Mountain. But, yeah, making the logical play to go into Swamp Palace, it is a required dungeon. If there's a pretty high chance that, Book will be somewhere on his path because he can clear almost everything, actually. He can clear Ice Palace, Mire, Swamp, Skull Woods, and Eastern and Pod almost. So if Book is, in one of these dungeons and Osse follows the same path, then it's going to be a pretty scary thought for OneUp.
Yeah, and as we were discussing, he may well think the bow is in Swamp.
Alright, so what we're looking at right now is, 1 item away from go mode for Osse, picking up that bow in Thief Sound in the big chest, which OneUp didn't have access to since the hammer was found in the dam, I believe, in Light World. So OneUp didn't have that opportunity to go there, but Osse, opting to do these kind of one-off checks instead of going to the more abundant areas and finding that bow. The one kind of luxury right now is that OneUp knows that the bow is locked behind the hammer, which it's not a whole lot of locations, but one of those locations is unfortunately GT. So if he decides to just not go to Thief Sound ever, if he finds like a book somewhere here, he may just like try to go mode everything that isn't hammer locked, hope that the bow is in GT, and then not find it there.
And on Osse's side, the question is, will he check Laser Bridge once he finishes in Tower of Hera? I imagine he will, but you never know.
Yeah, it's kind of a decision between, do you go to T-Rock, get that mirror right there, and check everything in there, or do you go over to like Spike Cave and see if there's any progression in there, because both of them kind of require that save and quit to get back to the other location. I would imagine T-Rock probably going to be the play, just because obviously more items are there. But with what we've seen Osse do so far, maybe he'll do the more unlikely play and be rewarded with something like the book. Osse finishing up his very easy Moldorm fight using those spins from the Master Sword. Gonna get his second crystal, which puts both our runners at the same number of crystals. But with regards to progression, Osse definitely in a pretty great lead, 54 minutes in.
Yeah, and OneUp's definitely thinking in terms of, does the bow being hammerlocked mean left side of Swamp? because, you know, he's not even clearing the back of Swamp first. He went straight for the left side.
It's true. And the reason why the hammer can be on this side and not those first two chests is just because, you know, due to like, you know, Key Sandy or Retro, you can just run past them to get to the back of Swamp.
And there's nothing of use on the left side.
So there we go. Osse making that T-Rock play. He's going to go ahead and go in, not through the laser bridge, but rather going to start at the big chest. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to pick up too many of these items. But I'd say overall, probably a little bit of better location because it's kind of that halfway point in T-Rock. So, you know, you take one trek over to laser bridge, you mirror, and then you go back to the front instead of, you know, having to jump down and mirror again at a different location.
Well, except I think the big key might have been on laser bridge. Can't swear to it, but I seem to remember that.
Yeah, it was on laser bridge. So it'll kind of help him out if... Oh, it looks like... Actually, no, he's not going to do that. He's going to go to the front first. So he's going to have to make... He's not going to have to make an extra trek. I don't know if he has enough keys to get through this.
Well, there's the big key door to get between this level and the next level down.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So that is a double dip that he's going to have to take that one up didn't have to do. And there we go. Yeah, he's key locked right now. So he's going to have to jump back down if he wants to continue this T-Rock play and go in through the entrance through laser bridge. He's like, oh, what do I do? Oh, he's going to flute away. Interesting.
So if he doesn't go to laser bridge anytime soon, and One Up doesn't go to the Thieves Town big chest anytime soon, this could be a long seed.
Right, he's cleared out everything except Spike Cave and laser bridge so far, and then obviously the chest in the front of T-Rock. So not as many locations that, you know, you would probably think maybe I want to go back up there. So could be help out One Up a bit if, you know, Canis Maria ends up being a go mode item for Osse if he finds books soon enough. Oh, here we go. Then he remembers to when you go to Skullwoods, you want to go ahead and mirror over by that entrance to the Master Sword, just so that way you don't have to go through, you know, that first part of Skullwoods.
Right, they got the fire rod up on Death Mountain.
Here, One Up doing that Argus fight, using those spins from the Master Sword. Kind of a lengthy fight, but still pretty consistent. He has a lot of hearts for this, so I don't think he's in any danger of, you know, taking a death here. Just going to be a pretty long fight. So with regards to the tournament, this is actually game 2 between One Up and Osse. This is One Up's pick. Both of them have a couple of inverted matches against other players that, so they are a little bit more familiar with the mode. One Up is actually has a better record, it appears, in inverted, as he is 2-0, and then Osse is currently 1-1, taking a loss to Liam Atlas earlier on. So both of them have a little bit of experience in it, and, you know, Osse, you know, kind of banking on those locations you don't normally go to in inverted, paying off so far. And here's this Master Sword Mothula, not opting to do the hammer strats. Doesn't have magic for Fire Rod, unfortunately. Let's then go ahead and use those spins instead. A little bit harder to do just because, obviously when Mothra touches these spikes, then he's not going to take any damage.
Such great game design.
Right? Oh, I still remember the days that or if you had Butter Sword, it would only do I think it would do reduced damage because the game wouldn't want you to have Butter Sword at that point. Fortunately, I got fixed. But Osse taking him down pretty well, gets rewarded with that mirror shield, which really doesn't give you anything else. Kind of makes you think about Laser Bridge, but I doubt that he's just going to rush up there right now.
And 1UP just raided Aegina's life savings.
He's an old guy. He doesn't need money. What's he going to do? Buy bombs?
He's got a nice cave over his head. Probably doesn't even have to pay rent for it.
I know, right? He doesn't have any electricity, too, because he's got the torches there for that lighting. So I'm sure his cost of living is pretty low, and he's not really going to mind 1UP raiding his stash.
So I wonder if 1UP's gonna full clear Meyer now. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Yeah, one benefit he has for having that that cane that Osse has, that that's a dungeon he can go ahead and clear right now. But Osse is not going to go ahead and waste any time. He's going to go clear out the crystal dungeons that he has access to. In the Ice Palace right now, with the Fire Rod and that Bombos. So both of them, looking for those items needed for go mode. Osse just looking for a cane, which we already know where it's at, and the book, which is elusive right now. And then 1UP looking for the book as well as the bow. And 1UP though, he's not going to go ahead and do Meyer just yet. He's going to unlock it. But let's see, where is he going to go next?
Oh, and Osse just got the hint about Western Wing of Swamp, so when he gets into Swamp, even if he hasn't found the book yet, he knows he doesn't have to go to the west.
It's true. I think that kind of plays into, his knowledge of the game. It's pretty likely that that swamp hint is going to show up at some point. So if you can do, these other dungeons that, can give you that hint possibly, that's a whole lot of time that you don't have to go over to the left side if you're looking for, one or two items. And Ice Palace is a great place for that. You got 3 hint tiles in here, so it kind of makes this play a little bit more favorable when you're, just trying to decide, do I do Swamp or Ice Palace first?
Yeah, the downside, of course, is how spread out the treasure chests are in Ice, and the fact that, for all that, there are only 3 items.
Now, he did have the knowledge that, he wants to do the bomb jump just in case that the Ice Palace keys to get to Cold Stairs on Cold Stair itself, having the King of Samaria is something that the game thinks about for placement block on that switch. So rather than get to the bottom and find out you don't have enough keys, if you can do that bomb jump, it's almost always going to be a benefit to just get it right away and not get locked out once you get to the bottom. Now Osse picking up his Mothra fight only with the fighter sword, but it looks like he's going to go for those hammer strats, which does that tempered damage.
Oh right, 1UP never thought to check Lumberjack, which is where we saw the Master Sword.
And Osse, remembering before he drops down that, hey, there is that iced tea chest, as well as a hint tile right here. Don't want to leave that behind and, have to climb back in. But there we go. Green Pendant only has cash. That's a pretty nice find as well. Doesn't roll out Pedestal just yet, but at the very least, you're not making that trip over to Sahasrahla after clearing Eastern Palace, if we get to that point.
We haven't even seen Sahasrahla's closet yet, though.
true. No, neither runner
Neither
has
of
made
them.
it away over there.
Yeah,
So
which I
today,
guess makes sense. Go ahead.
I'll say we stole the money from Agina, but Sahasrala's, retirement funds will be in good hands, as no one will be stealing that from him.
Yeah, I guess since they know that both Eastern and Pod are pendants, they haven't felt it worth it going over there just for 3 chests in Sahasrala's closet.
Also doing that bomb jump. Kind of a neat little thing. Instead of having to run all the way.
Oh, there's the book.
There we go.
We are in no mode.
So this is bad news for 1UP, because that King of Samaria is in a really good position for Osse to go back to T-Rock and find. That bow in Thieves Town, though, not so much. Yeah, get those Ped. Ped dead. Nobody likes Pedestal. So I'm glad that we're not going to see that. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, please. Mirror into Thieves Town. Just get this item. And there's Osse going into his Master Sword Cold Stare fight. Has the Fire Rod. It's not going to be too difficult. You should be able to take out 1 or 2 of them before he runs out of magic. So that kind of makes the fight a little simpler to deal with. Oh no! The bow! The bow!
Oh no. Wow, Osse doing quite a good job for Master Sword Cold Stare, without even resorting to the hammer.
Yeah, hammer's real nice for killing Cold Stare if you kind of have the patterns down, but nope. Also gonna resort to Fire Rod, Master Sword spins instead. So yeah, 1UP looks like he's starting to work. I don't know. I thought he was actually setting up for Ice Palace, getting all those blue potions, but maybe gonna go instead to a Mire. Alright, and then Osse, most likely, yeah, gonna head over to Swamp. He's got that knowledge that there's nothing on the left side. So this will almost be a go mode Swamp. I'm sure he's gonna have to do a couple extra checks. He'll probably go back to the big chest, since the big key was in the back of Swamp Palace, but much better than having to run all the way to the left side just to find, those 2 pieces of heart.
And then I'm guessing he'll just walk over to the desert and do Desert Palace, which will also get him his tempered shield on the ledge, a tempered sword. And then the question is, does he waste time going through Misery Mire, seeing if there's a French Vanilla Cane?
It's true. I fully expect him to go ahead and just full clear all these dungeons. You never want to be in a position where you leave something behind and it ends up being that one form of progression that you need to finish the game. So if 1UP, both of them are kind of in that position where they're going to go ahead and clear out all these dungeons that they can, looking for the items that we know are not there.
Which is unfortunate, because given where the big key was, this would have been the Godmire.
That is true. So it kind of begs the question is, once they finish, all these dungeons they can do, namely for 1UP will be just Mire and Ice Palace, and then Osse, Desert and Swamp. Where do they go next? Does 1UP opt to go to Pendant, Eastern, and Pod, which I think is a pretty likely decision given how many items are over there? Or does he, revert back to these locations he had to leave behind. Whereas, Osse, does he go to over to Eastern and Pod as well, or does he go up to T Rock knowing that he left behind a laser bridge?
Well, oneup, I'm thinking, if he does ice next and is still in full clear mode, he's gonna find the book there. And then the question is, does he start thinking, again, since he knows the bow is hammer-locked, does he start thinking left side GT?
And that's my worry as well. That could be a little bit of a benefit to oneup because, even if you're going to GT and clearing it looking for the bow, you're still knocking out locations and finding, potentially the big key. Where Osse doesn't have that luxury. He's going to have to go up to Death Mountain a couple more times before he can get into GT, to find that cane and then go down the mire and then go back up. So oneup, it really just depends. Does he know how these hints work? Is he going to be able to know where that bow could be, or is he just going to, clear out these other locations? He will find the book in Ice Palace, which I imagine will be his next play. And then he may not just, I think once he finds the book, then he can go mode a desert, and knowing that the bow won't be there. He doesn't have to go back into T-Rock because he knows the bow won't be there. It's just really, this is where your game knowledge really comes into play, or just having that checklist up on the side. However, oneup going into a fire sword bowless Vitreous fight is not a situation you want to find yourself in. Very easy to take deaths here. Sure, you have the magic cape and Burna, but you're going to have to resort to sword spins, hammer strats without the invincibility.
I think that's why he bought 2 blue potions right before coming in here.
That is true.
But yeah, no half magic, so if he's using the cape, he's got to go through magic pretty quickly.
So one cool little thing about the magic cape is that, as long as you're swinging your sword, the magic does not decrease. But however, having the fire sword, I don't believe will damage the eyeballs at all. You have to resort to those sword spins, so you can't take advantage of that neat little exploit to save some magic.
And Osse having a much faster Argus fight because he had the bow and silver arrows.
Plus the Master Sword 2 for the double spin on the Argai too. So, both runners, kind of doing their separate things right now, but I think once we see them clear out some stuff, we'll possibly see Osse with a small lead. But it's really going to be dependent on... Oh, here we go. The
bomb
famous
straps
bomb
on
strats.
Vitreous.
I love them.
But because of how version 30's done, you now don't pick up capacity upgrades in chests, so unless you want to go to the vanilla upgrade location, you're stuck with a 10 bomb capacity.
Nice thing is he has that red tunic, so I believe he can take 1 hit before he's near death. But with those 2 blue potions, I imagine he's not going to take that risk. Yeah, there it is right there. And then Osse, finishes his Argus fight, gonna head right over to Desert Palace, hoping to find that red cane there. There we go. Might as well use that hammer. You got almost full health. You have 2 extra potions. I don't want to take too many free hits, though.
And we're going to see a game of hammer ping pong, I think.
That's gotta be a pretty bad life for Vitreous. You know, the only way you get around is by bouncing, on the floor. That's gotta be pretty painful. You don't have any kind of skin, like, around your eye, so you're just like, every time you hit the floor.
Well, he has his soft slime for padding, at least on that side of the room.
That's true. So, he's just hanging out, just like Agina. He's got his comfy little home, and we're just going in and just taking his goods.
But isn't that what most video games are about? Just like taking people's stuff, whether you have their permission or not.
I think it's even more ironic that OneUp is playing as the old man. He probably spent his life, partying it up. He didn't have, this retirement fund set up. He took money out of his 401k to hang out, over at the chess game, trying to get rich quick. And, now he's got to put himself in danger.
I don't know if you noticed, but back when he was in bunny form, his bunny form was a skeleton.
It's kind of a grim reminder, like, hey, you better find something to help you live, or this is what you're going to be in a very short amount of time. Pretty morbid realizations coming out from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past Randomizer.
Okay, so why did OneUp decide he didn't want to go into Ice Palace?
Maybe just picking up just that extra blue potion, Fire Sword. Kind of is not easy to do against Cold Stare, so maybe just looking for those Fire Rod strats.
And since he has rupees to burn, I guess he figured that was the easiest way to refill his bombs.
Oh, so you're going to pick up his Temper Sword. Pretty clear difference in firepower between Osse and OneUp as far as just being able to do damage. So I don't exactly remember where that Master Sword was, but...
that was in Lumberjack.
Ooh, and he didn't check that. So I think at the very least, he'll probably just be going with the Master Sword. I don't think he'll go up anytime soon to Lumberjack. But if he does, maybe he'll be thinking, I can chain in Lumberjack as well as, Thieves Town and Hammerpicks too to pick up the mitts to get through, the rest of the game.
Well, I'm not sure we actually need the mitts for anything in this seed. It opens up a few checks. But I don't think technically we need the mitts to finish this seed. Yeah, chat's confirming that he doesn't need the mitts. So Osse's now finished Desert, and oh, he's fluting away. He's not checking Meyer. Where is he going to? Actually a bit puzzled where Osse's going now. Oh, just suggesting Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, he does have the 5-6 crystals.
A red bomb, really nice to do an inverted. You can just go ahead and I believe the portal is, yeah, you can just go ahead and mirror right here instead of having to walk all around. That makes it super convenient to check. But yeah, right now, Osse does have a lot of time to, kind of look around for this cane while OneUp is going through Ice Palace. I have to think, with him right here, I wonder if he goes ahead and goes over to the eastern pod area, see if he can find that cane of Samaria. Nope, looks like he's going to opt to follow the logic a little bit more. It does have, the access to King's Tomb as well as Bonk Rocks. So kind of is in line with his earlier play of, rather than just go into these locations with a ton of items, try to gamble on these, locations, just one or two. Find what you have, because, maybe he thinks his opponent is going to try to, go to where all the items are at, and then if he finds something, then that'll put him ahead. We already saw that work with the bow in Thieves Town, so it could just be following that logic still.
So remind me, where in ice was the book?
That's going to be on the big chest.
Okay.
So he's gonna.
Oh, so he's about to
it up
get
on the right
that.
side. Right. So he can just jump down right here. He'll hookshot through, pick up his book, and then it's where do you go? What's the play after this?
Well, I imagine he'll do desert, which also means he can finally get his Master Sword.
Osse picking up that ice rod in Sahasrar's closet. Another item that says, hey, this is something that's required for T-Rock. I have Laser Bridge left. So he's picking up all these things that kind of could point him back that direction, but opting to do the safer option in his mind of checking out Eastern as well as Pod.
Now that's one advantage OneUp has, because he knows the bow can't be over there, because the only thing over there that's hammer-locked is Helmasaur himself, and you need the bow to get to Helmasaur. So he has no reason to go over there.
Exactly. The only thing he might end up checking is... actually, no, there's no reason to go to Eastern at all, because there's nothing in there that requires a hammer. So this could be a really good position for him. But I have to think, after Desert Palace, you'll probably just book it up to GT.
And then I think once he doesn't find the bow on the left side of GT, I think at that point, Thieves Town is the only remaining hammerlock location. Well, that and Hammer Pegs.
He'll probably end up... I don't know, he does have Spike Cave. That is one location.
Oh, right.
But the thing is, Ganon's Tower is at Hyrule Castle. He can't just mirror out and just go down to Spike Cave. So he's gonna... If he wants to go up to Spike Cave, he's gonna have to commit only to that and nothing else.
Well, it's actually a pretty quick check if you mirror up to location 1.
Oh yeah, that is true. You do have that save and quit in Dark Mountain. Unfortunately, OneUp will pick up his second sword upgrade right here. So that will help out with pretty much just Ganon's Tower. Alright, for those of you coming in kind of recently, we're in a position where both Osse and OneUp are one item away from go mode. OneUp needing the bow that's in the bottom of Thieves Town, Osse needing the red cane that's in the first chest of Laser Bridge. OneUp has a little bit of a knowledge advantage, knowing that the bow requires the hammer, but Osse does not have such knowledge, unfortunately. He he decided to go through the middle of T-Rock as opposed to starting from the laser bridge, and then didn't go back. So really interesting situation for both of us. And there we go. We get that unique item is held with the fishes. I have to wonder, does OneUp maybe think just forget like the hammer hit and just go straight up to catfish, or does he just remember, oh yeah, you can't go up. You don't need the hammer to go up there.
So the other thing is, I feel weird saying this when neither runner is in go mode, but OneUp's about to have 7 crystals, and we know what that means. It's about to be time for.
Right, we still have a little bit of time, so don't start anything just yet. But even after we have that 7th crystal, we still have quite a bit amount of the game left. Since OneUp will need the bow to actually complete his ascent.
But it is entirely possible that he finds the GT Big Key while he's looking for the bow if he decides to go into GT Basement looking for the bow.
Osse making actually pretty quick work through Palace of Darkness. I haven't been keeping track of the items. I'll be able to take a look once he goes into his item screen again. But if there's an item on Helmasaur King, then he could make that full clear. Possibly go back into Eastern Palace. He only checked 2 chests in Eastern, so we know for sure that there is stuff still there. There's another fetch quest for Osse, another location to check, picking up that mushroom. Alright, here we go. OneUp goes ahead and gonna enter his Lamos fight. Does have the full magic for this. Misses 2 shots, unfortunately. But it should be pretty easy to clear this. Gonna get that spin, maybe a couple slashes, and there we go. Our 7th crystal has been found. So with that, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so there are 22 chests in the basement of Ganon's tower. One of them contains the big key. We're going to be following OneUp if he goes into Ganon's tower, and get your guesses in.
Now, it's important to note, this could be a situation that maybe he doesn't go up to GT right away, and Osse actually gets into GT before him. It's unlikely, but it's still a possibility. Oh, yeah, he's going to go ahead and... Looks like he's trying to find that bow before he goes up to T-Rock. Or goes up to GT. So, you guys have a long time to throw in your guesses. As long as you are, either a subscriber to any of the speed gaming channels or someone has donated 250 bits, if you are either the correct guesser or the closest one, you will be added to the leaderboard.
I wonder what OneUp's checking here.
He does have... So he doesn't have to go up the Lumberjack. He knows that there's nothing there. I have to wonder, is he going to Hammer Pegs? Is he going to go...
But why did he warp to the... Why did he warp to the Light World to go to Hammer Pegs?
Could have been a little bit of just not thinking. I know, when you go... You play so much open mode, you're thinking, okay, I got a mirror or I gotta go into Dark World and then go to Hammer Pegs. So maybe it's just kind of a point of just, muscle memory taking over.
Could be. Well...
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have the mitts.
Aren't gonna do much for him, but he'll pick them up anyway.
Alright, OneUp, come on. You are so close. No! Oh!
Where's he?
Oof.
Oh, is he trying Spike Cave? He's probably trying Spike Cave.
and like we were talking about, Osse going into the helmet sword fight, this is just more and more time for oneup to get back into Thieves Town, but unfortunately, he's probably gonna. Oh wait, does he know that Cannon's Tower is at Hyrule Castle? He has to know.
I think so. I think he's just like going through hammerlocked locations. He knows Spike Cave is hammerlocked.
That is true. So he is definitely following the hint still that the hammer is, or the bow is locked behind hammer. Unfortunately, he's kind of going to locations that are a little bit more out of the way when he was right in front of Thieves Town. So here we go. Right here is going to be a very important play. What's he going to do? Osse going to head back into Eastern. So oneup is in a great position because Osse still has to do all of Meyer.
But it looks like he's going for GT now.
Not a bad decision. He does have a lot of time on Osse. Osse has to get up to T-Rock, and then he has to get over to Meyer to clear it.
Wait, no, what's oneup doing? Did he suddenly remember Thieves Town? No, oh, he's just...
Yep, he just saved and quit. Alright, so let's go ahead and end this game. Since he is now officially in GT, where is that big key gonna be?
Didn't find a key, so he has to go left. Oh no, he did find a key, but he chooses to go left.
He could be thinking, I want to find where these hammer locations are, but he can't do anything where these bow locations are. The hammer is required to go on this side, so the bow could be on this side, you know, from his point of view. And if he doesn't find the bow here, then he knows, okay, I gotta go back out in the world. But shoutouts to our runners. You know, what a race so far. You know, Osse had a very good lead early on based on execution and finding that early bow, but you know, the tables have turned. You know, that one hint just kind of making this game entirely in OneUp's favor.
And please give both of them a follow. I mean, they're really slogging through it here, and they've both had a really good tournament to this point.
Osse getting that third item on the big chest in Eastern Palace, so he's not going to have to worry about that almost clear. How many locations are we up to? We're up to 3, 7, 8. Okay. So
yeah,
chest
Fire
number
Snake
9
will be 9.
And then 10 through 13 going to be over in the randomizer room. Now, what if it's behind Ice Armos? Technically, you can kill Ice Armos without, you know, needing the bow, but it's a pretty long fight.
Let's hope he doesn't use the boomerang.
Oh, please, don't do that.
Just for
10,
frustration
11,
to show up.
So 10 through
13.
That is the last hammerlock location, because you can go to right side, or you can go to Ice Armos by using the right side. So now he's just going to go ahead and just... Oh, I hope he doesn't do this slow Ice Armos and just decides to find the bow first, because that's going to be a really long fight. Especially with the Master Sword. Oof. Big oof.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky in the big keys in Bob's chest.
Oh, and surprising, I didn't realize Osse didn't even try to check Meyer to see if the cane was in there. That's not going to be a good feeling for him.
Oh, here we go to Ice Armos with the Master Sword.
And Cane of Burna, let's go. Look at those frames. I love it. He's gotta be a little careful, though. I think he has a blue potion, so they're not going to hurt him too much with that red mail, but Ugh, not a great bolus, Armos.
Yeah.
So we got 13, 14, 15 through 17, I think, coming up behind Ice Armos. If I'm wrong in chat, feel free to correct me, because counting is not my strongest.
Yeah, you're right. It's
That's why I use a
15
map
through
tracker.
17.
That's why I'm thankful there's map trackers, because I can never remember how many items are in each dungeon. Ah, yeah, there we go. Get that Kingdom Burner out.
That's kind of funny watching the last one just keep jumping on top of the cane.
All right,
there it is, 15.
Vanilla big key. So wait for it to show up on the restream. Don't want to spoil you dudes. There we go. Shout out to Kinghorn being the correct guesser of the big key. However, we gotta find the bow. Where'd the bow?
I believe tonight's prize is 3 free scoops at Cold Stare Creamery.
Hey, you know what? Just because we like you so much, Kinghorn, we'll go ahead and we'll throw in, you know, just a dash of magic powder on top for free. But there you go. One Up knows exactly where that hammer or that bow is at. The last location possible, that Thieves Town big chest. So I have to say, this is only One Up's game to lose. Osse still has to go up to T-Rock to find the King of Samaria. One Up just has to get to the bottom here and complete the ascent. So unless, you know, I never like to speculate on what could happen on the ascent, but given the execution One Up has shown up so far, I think this is pretty much going to be in the bag.
Yeah, I mean... trying to remember what the typical time differences between Master Sword Ganon and Tempered Sword Ganon. I mean, it's not enough for Osse to catch up unless something else happens, but there is some amount of time difference there.
Now, hopefully, One Up remembers that there is actually a full magic off the tree next to the portal in Kakariko, because it's going to be pretty useful going up. Oh, yes, he does. Oh, I love you, One Up. You're my favorite player now. You do this, you go into Light World, you get the full magic, and you save and quit all the way back to GT. Don't save and quit. Please don't save. No!
Oh.
You were so close. But it's okay. There are some magic refills on the way up. And he also does have 1 or 2 blue potions, so not all bad. But yeah, he's in a really good spot. The only thing that could be better is if he finds a Temper Sword on the way up to Aghanim, which is entirely possible. We haven't seen where that 4th sword is at.
And Osse is now on Death Mountain, so maybe he's finally gonna make that laser bridge play.
And then One Up picks up the full magic refill, so kind of lucked out right there. Osse, I'm gonna go into Spike Gate first, unfortunately, but I think the only other locations he really has left are T-Rock, so probably make that play next. Surprised that One Up is not going to use one of those potions. Going to just go ahead and complete that ascent. I would have to think that, you know, where he's at, he may think he's a little bit behind with the bow being in that location. And I would just be rushing straight up GT, you know, worrying about that dot done in the race chat. Alright, yeah, Osse making the right play, but he has an uphill battle ahead of him if he wants to come close to One Up, unfortunately.
Yeah, because He then has to go off Death Mountain. I guess he can just whistle straight over to Meyer to get back there. Oh, and... Oh, okay, he's using the portal. I was afraid he was going to go in the front of T-Rock, but no, he can't do that. He doesn't have the cane.
That's got to be a real bad feeling, knowing that you were here so early. And...
Oh no, he's checking, what, Ether Tablet now?
Right. Might as well get that out of the way first. But, yeah, once he finds that King of Samaria, just the knowledge that he could have had that go mode so right in Ice Palace, that's not a good feeling. Osse oneup finishes the gauntlet. Gonna make it through the easier part of the ascent using those King of Samaria swag strats. Well, Osse... Oh! Where's the laser bridge? Oh, and there he is. Here's gonna be the moment. That moment where you just... You know you probably lost this race.
There it is.
Feels...
No rage slashes. Remarkably calm about it.
That feels so bad. I've been in that position where it's just like you leave behind an item and you're like, oh crap. Like I could have had this 20 minutes into the race. And plus, you know, with the big key being behind Ice Harmos, it's gonna be a while, unfortunately, before he gets over to it starts his ascent through Gan Sour.
Yeah, his best bet is probably if he decides to go full right, but no one decides to go full right.
But this is honestly we're talking about. I mean, he did do that early Thief Sound play. Could be... He may go straight Tile Room and continue on to the right side, given that, you know, just the knowledge that he could have had that King of Samaria much earlier.
And he probably knows he's behind, too. Or has to think he's behind.
Oh yeah, I bet both our players actually think they're behind, you know, with these one locations that they had, you know, kind of hidden from them.
Yeah, OneUp's probably a little bit surprised that he hasn't seen a doc done yet.
That's true, but hey, you know, that's the nature of randomizers. Sometimes, you know, that one play that you just decide not to do is the deciding factor, unfortunately. And definitely played out in OneUp's favor. It definitely looked like it was going to be Osse's game to win for most of it, but, you know, unfortunately that King of Samaria and the lack of the laser bridge play, you know, really...
Pretty nice Aga fight. Was that a triple in the last one? I think so.
I think it looked like it. It's always hard to tell when the multiple ones hit, like, near each other. But here we go. OneUp entering the Ganon fight. If you guys want to see OneUp take this match super cleanly, let's see, post your favorite emote in chat. Let's give him a little bit of support. 20 minutes in the past.
Well, I mean, it's nice to know that Ganon recognizes the importance of a good breakfast.
But yeah, there's those Master Sword slashes. Unfortunate part of having to go in this fight with just the tier 2 sword. The normal hits don't do anything to him. Oh, he does have a blue potion, so I'm actually glad he did not use that earlier on. Oh, come on, get that god positioning. Oh, he could be above. That's alright. Osse finishes up his Mire fight, and he's going to go straight into Ganon Tower as well, doing that save and quit.
So let's see how quickly he can find the big key there. He'll certainly have a much faster Armos battle with the Silvers.
That is true. And oneup having a little bit of trouble with getting these slashes off, only getting like 1 or 2 per phase. It's really difficult to get these, get the positioning off because you have to dodge these fire bats. But he's playing this really safe. It takes a lot of willpower to do this as safe as he is right now, because you're constantly thinking, you know, what if my opponent is on this fight too? And I'm losing all this time by, you know, doing these super safe strats. Oh, he doesn't have anything else. He does have that green potion, fortunately. So if he elects to use King of Burna or the magic cape, he has plenty of magic to use, but does finish up phase 2, and now we're on to the easy part of this fight. All right, 2 hits out of 4.
Oh, and Osse did not go full right. He just grabbed the key and mirrored after checking, I forget what that room's called, compass room?
Actually, a little surprised to see oneup do the torch glitch there. You want to set up that that 3-hit combo with the fire rod, but maybe he just forgot he had silvers since he had the bow. Like, he didn't get the bow till like 20 minutes ago. Alright, 2 hits down, 2 more to go. Don't take that Ganon. Oh my god, he's so close to dying.
Well, only needs 1 more arrow now.
I'm panicking now. Oh my goodness, please. Okay, get this. This is free. This is free. Okay. And that is our 4th hit onto Ganon, meaning... I think we know what that means.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't fall off the bridge.
And by
Okay, get your GGs in chat for oneup.
GG, oneup finishing inverted randomized sword Ganon seed with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 15 seconds. Well played, seed, indeed.
And Osse must have seen his dot done because I saw a bit of hesitation as he was going through that door there.
Yeah, I think, you know, some runners will go ahead and keep SRL up, just to see if they did take that loss, especially if you're that far behind. Sometimes it's just comforting to know, like, okay, it's done at that point. I don't have to worry about rushing. I could just finish the seed at my own pace. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get oneup in here for an interview.
Says he doesn't have a mic.
Oh, okay. That's perfectly fine. Well, I do want to extend my congratulations to oneup for finishing the seed. Definitely a lot of back and forth between the two of you, between you finding the rod and that thief sound and Osse not picking up the King of Samaria, and T-Rock really led a lot, like, you know, who's going to be officially ahead when we get some of these dungeons complete. But that's got to be a pretty good feeling. Currently 3-0 for inverted seeds in the group. And, you know, being the 5th seed in your group, kind of the underdog, that's got to be a really good feeling for, you know, what is essentially the hard mode seed, or the hard mode setting of this tournament.
And now improving to 5-5 as well, which, you know, with a good 5 remaining games, still puts him in striking distance of being able to advance to the bracket stage.
Plus, handing a loss to a 7-1 Osse. You know, if you're going into this tournament thinking maybe, I'm a little bit outclassed compared to my opponents. Handing a second loss to, a power player like that, that's got to be a real surge of confidence going into, the remaining 5 matches that you have.
Of course, it'll be interesting when these two players face each other for the 3rd time. I don't know if they've scheduled that yet, but the 3rd match, I believe, is picked. The settings for the match are picked randomly, and each player gets 1 veto. So it'll be interesting to see what they wind up playing, since neither player can pick settings that are obviously to his advantage. Since so far, Osse won the match where he got to pick the settings, and now OneUp's won the match where he got to pick the settings. But now Osse's on to LAN mode 2. A very nice 1 cycle on LAN mode 2 there. Oh, and apparently the Butter Sword was on PED, so that's why we never saw Butter Sword. Definitely not worth getting all the pendants just for that sword upgrade, but I'm sure OneUp's wishing he'd at least found the upgrade in Lumberjack.
So, since we at least have you in chat, OneUp, maybe we can direct some questions to you. Have like a kind of an interactive discussion. You already mentioned that inverted is your kind of go-to, since it evens the playground a little bit. Have any other maybe tricks up your sleeves for other matches, or just kind of banking on that inverted mode for a lot of your picks?
Oh, so I'm seeing also that Osse's posted in chat what their 3rd match is going to be. I didn't realize the machine draw had happened already. Wow, hard mode Randomizer. That's going to be a challenge.
Oh, Randomizer. Okay, I love Randomizer. Randomizer is without a doubt my favorite mode in this game for how volatile it is, and just so many wacky stuff like cold stare on Hera, or Helmasaur King at Moldorm 2. That kind of stuff, really you have to be able to react fast to what each room is. I know one of my first Randomizer seeds actually had 4 red guards in the Kuko hut. And right at the start, so you're thinking how do I do this in a swordless seed? And I leave it behind for so long, and look, the Titans end up being there right at the start. So being able to kind of adjust to what's being thrown at you is a real big part of player skill in Randomizer. So I'm actually looking forward to that match. I love watching Randomizers.
And it can also screw with your head with the logic, because you never quite know what you're going to need to beat a dungeon. Suddenly Trinex shows up and, oops, I guess I need the Fire Rod and Ice Rod for this dungeon.
Or you forget, oh, I don't need the bow to get all the way through Eastern Palace, and there's just a Moldhorn there with the bow. So definitely takes a lot of your knowledge into play throughout this. But Osse, entering the Gen fight, gets that nice double. Does unfortunately miss 1 hit at the start, so he is 1 away from phase 2 and gets this really ugly positioning from Ganon, but should be able to clutch us out in 1 go.
So I'm guessing when all is said and done, it'll be about an 8.5-minute difference between the two runners.
And there we go. Phase 4, gonna be super simple with those silver arrows. Take that first hit, probably gonna... Oh, misses it, unfortunately, but don't need to use a torch glitch for this, because you can set up a really nice triple if you need to.
There's the triple.
Yeah, but as we said it. Commentator's blessing. But
okay.
I'll let you do this one, since I did one up.
Well, GG to Osse, who has now finished. I don't actually have the SRL time in front of me, though, do you?
We do have an official SRL time at 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 20 minutes. Both 2 sub-hours for an inverted seed.
For an inverted seed where both of them were missing one go mode item for the longest time, they both still managed to find that item and finish in under 2.
So congrats to both of them for playing on a really great seed. Definitely inverted is... It's not your normal playthrough. You really have to kind of prepare a bit for some of these harder challenges early on. So it's good to see, you know, it being played out through this tournament. But we do have Osse with us in chat. GG.
GG.
GG. So we already know kind of your thoughts on that go mode item, but I wanted to ask, you know, you went to Thieves Town very early on to pick up that bow. You know, is that something you tended to do, or was it just like, you know, I died to blind, I need to do this anyways, and I'll just go ahead and do it later?
Yeah, like, I was in the area and I needed to kill blind anyway. That's all it was.
Yeah, I remarked at the time I've never before seen it working to someone's advantage to nope out of a dungeon after dying. But yeah, I mean, had you like particularly thought about like the implications of, you know, not going back until after you found the hammer?
Yeah, like I was kind of leaning towards leaving anyway after finding the glove, because it was giving me mountain access, and I was expecting like progression up there, and I'd eventually get a hammer off of that. And I already had the small key, so there's a good chance I'd want to come back for the big chest anyway. So like I was already thinking about leaving anyway, so when I died, it was fine.
Got it. Yeah. So that actually gave you a lead at that point when you found the bow. So then I'm sure you know what the flip side of that was. Can you walk us through your approach to Turtle Rock?
So I was thinking that I wanted to do Mimic Cave, and then off of that you get 2 more chests I had access to. So you're just comparing 3 chests to 4 chests on Laser Bridge. That seemed a fine comparison. Doing all of Turtle Rock didn't make a lot of sense, because it would take a bunch of time to reclimb the mountain.
Just because it's pendant?
No, it's more about reclimbing the mountain. Like, you can get right to the end, even if it's a crystal.
Yeah, it's a real hard decision, because, you know, you have all these entrances into Turtle Rock that you're not just, it's not like a normal open or standard where you just go through, and pretty much go mode is the same thing as, you know, going through normally.
Yeah,
and
but,
yeah, I could definitely see that.
But I do think that I should have gone to Laser Bridge on the basis that I think that's what oneup would have done. So,
it's what oneup did do.
Yeah. And so I would want to have the same checks as him, so that he wouldn't get a lead on me. So I think that's why I should have done Laser Bridge.
There was a
Yeah.
little bit of an interesting comparison between the two of you because, at that time where you had the bow and he had the Keen of Samaria, it was still like, where is the book going to be? He actually ran out of magic going to the front of Turtle Rock, so he was only able to check that. I think it was the compass room, the one with the eye that blocks the entrance. He didn't have enough magic to go over to those two chests on the right side in the front. So it was like, what if the book ended up being there? And then it was just really, when does One Up get to Thieves Town, and when do you get back up to T Rock after both of you found the book in Ice Palace? So it was hard to tell like who was actually going to be ahead, because it was just coming down to who gets to that last location first.
Yeah, I had the entire Eastern Impod region to do, and that was just a lot of items. So I couldn't do Turtle Rock before that. And then after getting nothing, I felt like gambling Meyer, but it was too late anyway.
So you
It
were
wasn't a
well
bad
equipped.
choice.
Yeah,
ahead.
you were well equipped to catch up. I mean, you had the the bow and silvers, and you had the tempered sword. One Up actually wound up never checking lumberjack and did the whole race with the master sword. So you were able to slowly close some of the ground. It just wasn't quite enough time.
And the big kicker, I believe, was that bow hint, because One Up held on to that entire race. By the time he had finished Desert Palace and had GT, he ended up going to GT, trying to check all the hammer locations there. Checked a few before going in, and then he was able to rule out pretty much all of Pod, Eastern Palace, the Hashala, knowing exactly what the hammer locked between all the modes here. So he definitely had that benefit, where unfortunately the King of Samaria, it could be anywhere.
Yeah. I would think that he'd get back to the Thieves Town Big Chest like sooner rather than later anyway.
Yeah, it turned out to literally, I think it was literally the last hammerlock location he checked. He checked absolutely every other hammerlock location first.
Yeah, even going to hammer pegs, and then so he went hammer peg, spike, and then GT, passing up Thieves Town before clearing out everything he could in GT. So
and he hadn't gotten the hint about left side swamp either, because he did swamp before ice, so he full cleared left side swamp too.
Yeah, I did ice because I was looking for hints.
Which served you well, since you didn't have to go to left side swamp.
All in all, though, like I was really fond of your routing a lot. Once we got to Light World, everything, with the exception of that King of Samaria, just fell into place. Picking up all this progression that you need for the other locations, and you really took a big advantage. Being able to, just go into dungeon after dungeon, hoping to find those items, whereas One Up kind of had to look around a little bit more, for some items. So early game was excellent in my opinion, and it was really good to see you show just exactly why you're 7-1, coming into this race.
And 7-2 is still a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, the routing felt really good as far as full clearing everything efficiently. Like everything transitioned into the next thing.
So we already know that your next game is the hard mode Randomizer. How comfortable are you with Randomizer seeds? Is this something you think you got to practice a bit, or are you ready just to go for it?
I think this is gonna be my fourth one in the tournament.
Oh.
Like hard Randomizer is a setting that I've already picked for one of my opponents already. So I'm pretty comfortable with it.
So did you guys just both go with what the randomizer picked, or was there something else that one or both of you vetoed for the next one?
We did do vetoes.
And then, so like right now you're in first place, but I see that Airy right now is 4-0. You kind of I imagine your matches are going to be coming up pretty soon with him, correct?
Okay, we vetoed Ganon and Swordless.
Oh, okay. Yeah, swordless Randomizer sounds like it would be really painful.
Yeah, no thank you.
And I actually missed your question, sorry.
I noticed that Airy, the top seed in your group, has only done 4 matches, and I gotta imagine that, once he starts, picking up more scheduled matches, you can see those wins come up. Is he an opponent you're kind of worried about, trying to go for that first place, or are you kind of just comfortable right now where you're at, maybe just taking a second place seed if the rest of the group, turns out well for you?
I was in a very comfortable position, but now I got a second loss, so now there's a chance of people catching up to me for the second place. As far as first goes, I guess I'm expecting Airy to get it. Expecting Airy to sweep the group, but we haven't played a match yet, so I don't really know how we stack up.
Yeah, and it is a randomizer, so you never know, what could possibly, trip up, someone in a match. So it could, you'll go ahead and take the rest of these wins and get that very comfortable first seed spot going into the bracket. But yeah, I think that wraps up for me. I really like just kind of chatting with you about the checks that you made early on. The Thieves Town I think was a really cool play. It's something I still am pretty excited about because it paid off in spades, at least for the early game. Any other thoughts you maybe want to add before we go ahead and close out this tournament race?
Not really.
I'd just like to put in a plug for our runners. First of all, please give both of them a follow. And second, if you liked what you saw tonight, looks like their third match is scheduled for Wednesday night at the same time. Restream yet to be determined, but you can always check the schedule at speedgaming.org/ALTTPR. So I'm sure once they get a channel for that, it'll be posted.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that on Wednesday. Can't wait to see another good race between the two of you. But with that, this race has come to a conclusion. Once again, congratulations to oneup, taking that win, and good game to both of you for putting on a really, really good race all throughout. And it's been a pleasure commentating with you, Drosy.
And likewise with you, and thanks a lot to Magic Jade 47, our tracker, for keeping up with the whole game, and having to fill up most of the tracker.
True. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, not just, us coming in. So shout outs to, all the administrators behind this tournament, putting this on for us. I know it's really exciting to see these matches pretty much go on 24/7, just about. So, and we still have more matches actually happening. We have Chex Human versus Firewood King started about an hour ago over at Speed Gaming. And then a couple other non-restream matches between Salty Fry versus Imosora and Kyong versus Tudaru. So plenty of rando still going on tonight. If you're looking for more to watch, just head over to one of those channels and check it out.
And we'll be starting up bright and early tomorrow morning, 10:30 Eastern on Speed Gaming 3 with a whole another set of matches for tomorrow. So
that, once again, congratulations and GG. thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this race, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.
Have a good night, everyone.